I know we've already looked at Scorch as a rogue, but today we're going to do something a little different. Let's do this. What is going on, everyone? It's me, Songs of Rays, back with another Rogue Company video to bring to you, and today we're actually going to look a little bit into the update that's recently gone into Rogue Company with the weapon masteries, and the fact that you can now interswap weapons in the same class and category that you had for each of the rogues. So you can actually now mix and match SMGs, you can mix and match shotguns, all the way up to sniper rifles if you really want to, but only 2 characters really, well, three now can actually use those. So we're going to have a look into why I think the Striker 8x10 is possibly the best weapon to actually interswap with some of the classes, and we're going to break it down as to why I think Scorch benefits the most from this swap. So let's get into it quickly. Now, I wouldn't be doing our channel any justice if I didn't remind you of that subscribe and that like button, so just let us know how much you really love to see our Babylon content and how much you're looking to see what we're going to do in the future, and just make sure that you click and get yourself signed up ready for all those as soon as they drop. Okay, so let's get into it. So why do I think the Striker 8x10 is the best shotgun? Well, it has that fire rate, it has the high body damage as well. The range is a little bit pitiful and the mag size is a little pitiful until you get to upgrade 3, but then it really does start to shine. But the main thing is that this is a massive upgrade over the Arbitrator, which is the other shotgun that Scorch normally has. So if anything can be a massive positive to take away from this, this is going to be a better gun to use. Now, obviously, to get this gun, you do need to be able to play as Lancer and be able to get the weapon mastery all the way up to level 5. But as soon as you do, you're able to interswap and get this weapon in onto Scorch. And the reason why I think Scorch really benefits from this is the fact that she has a nice couple of perks that really do tie well as being an aggressive duelist kind of class, which obviously the Striker shotgun actually does play well quite into. But it's also the intrinsic perk that she has of her ultimate ability, which is obviously to add burn and to scorch to her bullets, which obviously makes this a bit more consistent in the damage kind of detail and allows you to be able to secure those kills a little bit more efficiently, because there have been times where I've been playing as Lancer where I've been able to get a couple of shots off and they've just been left with a tiny sliver of health left, and the burn really would make a difference and actually finish them off. So I've always thought that if she had a better shotgun, that Scorch would become a much higher kind of tier operator, maybe just at casual level. I'm not necessarily too sure at competitive, I'm still kind of new onto that scene, but it is a lot of fun to be able to run around with. It is a lot of fun just to be able to pierce loads of enemies with the burn as well, and you get to see that in the testing, and I wasn't aware that burning shells actually do pierce all the way through, so you can burn like any kind of enemies that are within that kind of cone, and it's really, yeah, it's really strong. So would I take this over the MP7 or the SLC, the submachine gun that she has? It kind of depends as to which one you prefer. If you were just purely going up close and personal, I would highly recommend the Striker, but if you were looking to be able to extend your range, then stick with the SLC. The only other thing to be able to be aware of is the fact that the Striker does require a lot of money to be able to involve into your build, to be able to keep your ammo supplied, because it does have a really long reload time of 2.47 seconds, whereas the SLC is a lot quicker to be able to reload. So it's just a toss-up, really. Do you prefer shotguns? Do you prefer SMGs? But we're going to look into why I think the Striker is actually better. So just purely going into the fire range, just to be able to show you off a few of the stats, just to be able to show you how consistent this gun actually is. At 10 meter range, it can actually hit a 3-shot kill just to the body, and that doesn't require any kind of aiming down sights or anything to worry about like that. As soon as you start pushing out to like 20 meters though, it does start to get a little bit harder to be able to get consistent, but you can get anywhere between a 4 to a 5-shot kill, or if you're really unlucky, a 6, but you should at that range be able to finish an enemy. Now, you just got to be careful with your movement, obviously, because if you're looking at a 4 to a 6-shot kill with this gun, you can easily get mowed down with pretty much every other gun that's in this game. So just be aware of what kind of engagements you're taking on. But obviously, at 30 to 40 meters, I would highly recommend that you do not start shooting with this and you close that gap, because it's just it's just going to be impossible to be able to kill before they can kill you. Obviously, if we start aiming down sights, this tightens up the pellet count. The spread is very consistent, though. That's the thing about this shotgun. It's not like it's completely random within the hipfire box that you can see on your screen. It does actually have a consistent pattern, and that's something to keep in mind, obviously, when you're playing. when you start aiming down sights, obviously this tightens up the box, and obviously it tightens up where the pellets are actually going, so it allows you to hit a few more pellets, deal that extra damage that you're looking for. Obviously, if we start looking at Scorch's ability, at 10 meters, I wasn't able to get a 2-shot kill. It was still purely 3 shots, so the Scorch ability is not necessarily helping you at 10 meters, but when it comes to 20 meters, we start seeing it just helping out a lot more, and that's the main thing about this. It gives you a bit more consistency to your shotgun, and it allows you to be able to extend the range of the firefights that you can actually take on, and that's all without buying any kind of upgrades. As soon as you start going into upgrade 1 to increase damage and damage range, obviously you'll then be able to hit consistent 3 shots at up to 20 meters, as long as you're aiming down sights. Increasing hip fire accuracy obviously allows you to be able to not just keep on the move. You don't necessarily have to slow yourself down by aiming down sight. And then upgrade 3 increases your magazine size, and your bullets allows you to pierce through enemies, and that allows you to take on pretty much a whole team all in front of you with those 12 rounds in your magazine, and it really is a sight to see. Now, if we start looking at this from a gameplay perspective, the Striker really works on Lancer just purely from the fact that when she rolls, she reloads all of her guns, or at least the one that's out at the time. Now, this really gets past the reload time of the 2.47 seconds, which, let's be honest, is really, really slow. Now, what does Scorch have that can actually offset that? Because obviously her ability is now to inflict extra damage rather than reload. Well, she has some really good ones in terms of like Berserker and Nimble Hands if you really just wanted to keep on the move and you just wanted some cheap alternatives. Obviously Berserker allows you to be able to reload while you're sprinting, so you obviously can keep up the aggression and run away if you need to. Obviously Evade then plays into that because that just gives you a nice little standard extra speed boost just in case you are being shot at, to be able to get back and obviously reload and then take on the next fight once you're reloaded. Nimble Hands reduces your reload time by 25%, so that does cut it down a little bit more just to be able to make it a bit more manageable, but I don't feel like that gives you the best way in terms of pure aggression. I mean, it's nice if you're just trying to poke them from range, but that just feels like a bit of a waste of ammo, especially since it is a shotgun, and this will be your primary weapon as well. So the main way that you're going to want to reload your gun is with Replenish, and Replenish essentially every single time you down an enemy will fully reload your gun, and especially when you get to upgrade 3 where you increase your magazine size to 12 instead of 8, that really does actually play a lot into that's a lot of firepower that you can bring to the team. That's a lot of aggression, just purely just running straight through the team, and it allows you to, you don't have any downtime with your Scorch rounds, because essentially every single time you down someone, you've got a full magazine just to be able to keep going and just pump out all that damage. If you've ever watched The Expendables and you've wondered how Terry Crews just has that never-ending AA-12 shotgun just in the show, this is basically your way of being able to get to that kind of level. This is your pure head first, activate your ability, deal as much damage as physically possible, and just run through the whole team. And it is actually possible to be able to do that just purely based on how much damage this actually can inflict in such a short amount of time. So when it comes to like demolition or anything like that, you need to wisely spend your money, and obviously the more kills you get, the more money you have to spend, so you basically have that snowball effect as the game goes on. So is the Striker worth paying any of your money into other than just to buy the gun? Well, by itself, it's a decent enough gun. It will obviously work at really close range. Your Scorch bullets will actually help to make up a little bit for the lack of damage range and the lack of damage that it has initially. So the upgrades themselves are actually pretty good depending on how you play the character. So if you go for upgrade 1, increases damage and damage range, this makes it a bit more efficient as to how your gunfights are going to go, especially as the range starts moving a little bit further away. As for upgrade 2, increases hipfire accuracy. This is huge for me. This is personally how I like to play with this gun, is I just purely go for hipfire. And the reason why is aim down sight slows you down so much, it makes you a sitting target, and when you're playing with a shotgun, you don't want to have that any kind of loss to your mobility. You want to be able to run as quickly as you can, as fast as you can towards an opponent, especially if they've got some kind of assault rifle. You want to close that gap, you want to make sure that you're within the damage range that you need to be able to inflict as much damage as possible, and just absolutely smash it out the park. So increases hipfire accuracy, even though on paper doesn't sound like much, I always tend to go for upgrade 2 at the very least, just as the game progresses anyway. I do think that some of the equipment and some of the perks are actually a better choice to be able to grab early game, like for example the incendiary grenade. I also think that Nimble Hands is probably a good start to be able to, before you start getting the money towards Replenish. But the gun itself, getting it itself to upgrade 2 is probably a good tactic to aim for. If you can get to upgrade 3 and you've just got some spare money kicking around because you're happy with the incendiary grenade you're happy you've got your replenish, increasing your magazine size and bullets piercing through enemies just allows that extra little bit of lethality just to add to your gun, especially if you're charging at the whole team. As for, is this better in Team Deathmatch or is it better for Demolition? I suppose you could gear the gun either way. If you're going for Demolition, you're probably only going to want to go to upgrade 2 because the firefights are a little bit slower paced. It's not as chaotic as Team Deathmatch, whereas in Team Deathmatch you need that replenish. You can't have that downtime of the extra reload. You need the extra magazine size just to be able to finish off as many enemies as physically possible. So it is better to gravitate towards fully kitting out your gun in Team Deathmatch, whereas when it comes to Demolition, you probably just want to go for upgrade 1 or upgrade 2 depending on personal preference. So I've done the grinding to be able to let you know if it's worth it or not to be able to grab this shotgun while you can for weapon mastery, especially early days. And this shotgun is a lot of fun. It is very devastating up close, and I would highly recommend it for any of your characters that you plan to be able to just get in the face of everyone else. It's kind of a pain to unlock, just purely based on some of the challenges that are there, because you have to get like triple kills and you have to kill people that haven't seen you or shot you and all this kind of thing. But it is still worth the grind. It's worth getting this in your collection to be able to put on every single rogue, and it just allows you to be able to play just that little bit different, just be able to keep your rogues a little bit more fresh. And I'm really enjoying it on Scorch. Just the extra burn damage just increases how consistent it feels, and I would highly I'm going to be rocking this a lot more in my casual demolition matches. So I'm going to wrap it up here, and we're just going to say a massive thank you to the people that are already members of Babylon. You're going to see their names up in lights and up in stars right about now. So massive thank you, as always, to all of you that are already there. And if you're interested in being able to take part, it literally starts from as little as 99p a month. So make sure you click that join button that's right next to the subscribe button. And if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button and smash that like button just to let us know how you're finding this content. Is it informative? Is it encouraging you to be able to play Rogue Company a little bit? Are you liking the idea of that we can do some videos just to show weapons across on different classes? Let us know in the comments section down below what your thoughts are. And as always, hope you've enjoyed. Keep yourself safe, keep yourself well, and I'll see you all on that next video.